Unfortunately, here's where things get really bad for Josh Heupel and this entire Tennessee team and program. And I'm going to let this be known right now, before we even get into the season. It's 2 months away. Tennessee fans, you are playing a very dangerous game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the last time we talked about this Tennessee football team and program was all the way back on May 9th. And as to when I'm speaking and making this video, it is June 29th, so it's been nearly 2 months. 2 months, which is way too long to not talk about a team that is one of the most not just relevant teams in the country, but in my humble opinion, one of the best teams in the country. And when I say one of the best teams, I mean they're a top 10 team and there's no debate. If you don't have the Volunteers in your preseason top 10, what are you doing? Throw away your list. In tonight's video, though, we're breaking the streak. We're talking about them again, and we gotta talk about something that is extremely fascinating. Whether you want to believe this or not, you're gonna have to accept the fate and reality that college football is right around the corner, and I think you can feel and hear, well, you can't feel, but you can hear the excitement in my voice. It's about to be July, and July, we all know, is gonna fly by. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but let's just roll with it. July's gonna fly by, then August, and boom, the season's here. And with the season coming up quicker than we know it, I've noticed some things about this Tennessee team and program, some of the narratives, some of the notions that are being thrown around. But overall, the main topic we're going to talk about is how this Tennessee team is just in one of the weirdest and oddest positions they've been in a very long time. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about in this video. I can't wait to get into it. This is the one and only topic we're going to talk about because I think it's that important. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. I say we just get straight into it. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste. Last year, in year 2 of the Josh Heupel experience that I loved up until this point, it was amazing. You can't ask for much more than going 11-2, and more importantly, we can't forget about this. This is the biggest thing about last year. You beat Alabama. Tennessee finally, when I say finally, it's been what, 15, 16, 17 something years? You finally got over the hump. You beat Bama. Who cares what happened after that game? Who cares what happened before the game? You beat Alabama. And like I've stated numerous times, did you hit some bumps in the road after that game? Yeah, but all in all, it was a great year. I think every single Tennessee fan watching this video right now would nod their head and agree with me. Finishing the year 11-2 is nothing to be ashamed of, and here's a different conversation for a different day. If you would have beat South Kakalaki, you would have made the playoff. That's got to be frustrating to hear. All you had to do was beat South Carolina and you would have been in the playoff, but like I said, different conversation for a different day. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt. Why are we talking about last year? We're supposed to be talking about 2023, and you're right, but hear me out. Be patient, Grasshopper. 2022 goes hand in hand with what we're about to get into, so just calm down. In 2022, I have some good news for Tennessee fans. The good news is you went 11-2. You beat Alabama. But here's the bad news. You went 11-2, and you beat Alabama. Ah, yes, I know what you're sitting there saying now. Matt, did you just contradict yourself? You said the same exact thing, and you're right, I did. I meant to say that. The good news is you went 11-2 and beat Bama. The bad news is the same exact thing. It's good because you're happy last year. I think all Tennessee fans, they were fulfilled, but it's bad because of expectation-wise. You see, what has now happened is Tennessee fans, they got a little nibble. They got a little taste of success. They got a taste of competing. They got a taste of being mentioned up there with the big dogs, and they want more. One thing you need to know about Tennessee fans is this right here. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And I can't blame them because most other fan bases are just like this. It is human nature to get a little taste of something and want more. Let me give you a great example. When you eat that first piece of steak, that blissful piece of charred outside, medium rare inside with some pink, you don't want to stop at one. And matter of fact, it makes you want more. When we eat that first piece of steak, our mouths are watering for more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the same exact thing is happening currently for Tennessee football fans. Their mouths are watering and they want more, and they want a lot more. What is the analogy for steak in this situation? Winning football games. Unfortunately for Josh Heupel and this Tennessee staff, if they go out there in 2023 and win 8 or 9 games, it'd be a disappointment and fans would be upset. And that's so crazy to think because last year, if I told Tennessee fans you were going to go 9-3, most of them sit up here and say, hey man, we'll take it. That is so surreal and crazy to even think about, but it's the reality. How about this? We go even farther. If I'd have told you 2 years ago, before you hired Josh Heupel and all these allegations and all these incidents with the paying players and all that crap was going on, if I were to tell you that in 2023, this current year we're about to play, you're going to go 9-3, Tennessee fans would go, holy crap, we won 9 games? How do we do that? A lot of people have forgotten it was only 3 years ago and this Tennessee program was left out to dry and nobody wanted to be the head coach. I remember it just like it was yesterday. They were reaching out to coach after coach after coach, and nobody wanted the job, and I can't blame them. It was one of the worst jobs in the country. And to me, at least, that is why I think Josh Heupel needs to get more respect and more praise. He inherited one of the worst situations of all time and somehow turned it into a positive, and here we are. We're now talking about Tennessee being a top 10 team and potentially competing for a playoff spot. It's crazy what one good head coach can do, and that's the only thing Tennessee has lacked in the past 15, 16 years. It wasn't talent. They've had talent. It was coaching. And finally, they have found their head coach, and it has solved a lot of problems. But getting back on track here, I'm very familiar with the Tennessee fan base. I grew up in a very small city that is actually located in Tennessee and Alabama. Grew up around Tennessee fans my entire life, and for the past 15, 16 years, they've all had the same thought process. Tennessee fans never expected to win a championship. They didn't even want to win a championship. They just wanted to compete with Alabama, and they wanted to win maybe 9, 10 games at best a year. And really, it's not even that. They just got tired of being a laughingstock. They just wanted to compete. I've never heard a Tennessee fan say, we're going to win the championship in this upcoming season. Never. Never heard it. But the one thing they've always said time after time after time, and you know this if you ever talk to a Tennessee fan, they would say, this year's our year. We're going to be back. 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 If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd be a billionaire. I heard it from 2007, so when I was 7 years old, up until now in 2023, now 23 years old. And you want to know what I told all my buddies that were Tennessee fans when they would tell me that? You're a flat out idiot. You're not going to be back. And you want to know how many times I was right? 10 out of 10 times. Every single time. But regardless of that, the point is when Tennessee fans would claim and say, hey, we're going to be back, they didn't mean back as in winning a championship. They meant back as in just competing. And that's even sad to say, but it's the truth. But fast forward in time to our current date, unfortunately, here's where things get really bad for Josh Heupel and this entire Tennessee team and program. Tennessee fans don't have that same mentality heading into 2023 that they've had the past 15 years. They now have the mentality of, hey, we won 11 games last year. At bare minimum, we should win 11 next year. They now have the mentality of, okay, we should be competing with Alabama and Georgia every single year. They now have the mentality of, we're a top 10 team for the next 10 years. And I'm going to let this be known right now, before we even get into the season, it's 2 months away. Tennessee fans, you are playing a very dangerous game. And you want to know what's ironic and funny about this? I'm the exact same way as an Alabama fan, and every other fan is the same way as well. Since Alabama's been the best at football the past 15, 16 years, I'll give you a great example. I'll use the Alabama basketball program. To give you some context, I go for Alabama everything. I'm not one of these weirdos who goes for Kentucky basketball and Alabama football and the New York Yankees and the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas the Dallas Cowboys, that's what I was going to say. No, I'm not like that. Believe it or not, I've met multiple people like that. I just don't understand that logic. But anyways, I go for Alabama basketball, and we've been awful my entire life, pretty much. And recently, we hired Nate Oates, and I think most of y'all know this. We've been really good the past 2 out of 3 years. Well, now, as an Alabama basketball fan, I've gotten a taste of that success, and I can relate to Tennessee fans, just not in the same sports. I want more, and I expect to be great. As an Alabama basketball fan, yeah, I expect to be a top 10 team now. As an Alabama basketball fan, if we're not a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, I am disappointed. I expect more. And although I expect that because I got a little taste of it, it doesn't mean I should expect that. You see what I'm saying? Because realistically speaking, is Alabama going to be the number 1 seed in the tournament next year again? Probably not. But do I expect that? Yes, I kind of do, because if we're not, I'm going to be disappointed. With Tennessee football, it's the same exact thing, but I'd go on a limb here and say it's actually worse, and I'll explain why. Let's not sugarcoat things, okay? I'm just going to be very blunt and harsh. This Tennessee football program the past 15 years has been piss poor. They haven't just been bad. They've been like, have you ever seen the Bad News Bears? Yeah, that's a great example. They've been so bad, you can't even laugh at it. You just feel sad for them. But now, like I stated, in 2022, they go 11-2, have a great season, and the fans are like, hey, we're back to good old Rocky Top. We're back to the good old days. We're going to be winning 10 games every single year as long as Josh Heupel's here, and yada, yada, yada. Just like Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. It's so weird for me to say this because last year, who would have thought I'd ever be saying this or we'd be having this conversation? But if Tennessee in 2023 doesn't win 11 games, it's going to be a disappointment and the fans are going to be slightly upset. And like I said, I can't even believe we're having this conversation, but it's the reality. And Tennessee fans, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, but I think I'm reading the room correctly here. Because theoretically speaking, you got to play Alabama and Georgia, so if you don't at least beat one of them, you're going to go 10-2. And that's best case scenario. And to me, I think if Tennessee fans, they win all their games except for Alabama and Georgia, and they go 10-2 and win a bowl game and go 11-2, they're still not going to be happy because they didn't make the playoff. The expectation for this Tennessee football program within the matter of 2 or 3 years has went from 0 to 100. It's fascinating, it's intriguing because at least in my lifetime, Tennessee's expectations have never been this high heading into a season. Also, it's an odd position because in reality, it's only Josh Heupel's 3rd year, and I think if he wins 9 games in his 3rd year, that's still A-okay. But if this Tennessee team in 2023 wins 9 games, then fans will throw a fit. I know they will. I know how they act. They're not going to be happy with that, and I'm not saying they should be. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about Roman.